the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football in a 40-point over-under with Pittsburgh favored by 6.5 at home.
Right here.
Before we do, we want to urge you to hit subscribe over on our YouTube channel and help the brand grow to over 2,100 subs. Continuing following us every single day for your fantasy football advice as we continue to roll through this regular season. We appreciate you guys. As we move through this game, we talk about the Chicago Bears, and I want to know, Johnny, can we get a little bit more Fields magic? We saw some last week. We're trying to, come on, man, give me that. I need it.
I know we need it, and it's fun to watch, and I hope it happens on Monday night because we'll be live streaming. So if you're wanting to watch with us, make sure you're tuning in, you're subscribed, like Big Travis said at the top, so you could watch this game with us. We'll be jumping on there. We have a good night on Monday night, so join that live stream. So I hope that Fields can continue this nice little 2-game surge that he's seen. But I'll be honest, fellas. I'll be honest with you and Whisper Nation. It really does not look good. It is not looking good. And if it does happen, then we really do need to start moving Fields back into that consideration. And maybe all those conspiracy theories about, what's going on with Nagy and tanking in the beginning of the season just to unleash Fields later could actually be a reality. But this week, it's a test. It's a test, boys. Pittsburgh giving up the fewest rushing yards on the season to quarterbacks. They've given up just 77 on the season to quarterbacks. Not going well for a quarterback that gets a lot of points from his legs. And not only that, but then when you're talking about just the quarterback position, Pittsburgh bottom 10, boys, in points allowed to the quarterback position. So I am not chasing the points this week with Fields. I'm leaving him on my bench if I have him. But I'll tell you what, if he outperforms this defense and plays well on Monday night, we'll be talking best believe on Tuesday in waivers how Fields could be that guy that carries you down the stretch. But I'm not going that far yet. Not going that far yet.
Would be a very nice stash right now if you can afford the bench spot, just to see if it can happen against the tough matchup. It hasn't been able to happen just yet for our guy Justin Fields. And so does that mean we're down? If the idea is to fade our guy Fields, are we also going to be fading Darnell Mooney? And I know it's a weird world we live in where Darnell Mooney is the guy we're talking about and Allen Robinson is the afterthought, Austin, but that's kind of where we're at here.
Yeah, that's just where we're at. If you're asking which wide receiver of these two guys to start, I'm going with Darnell Mooney. He leads the team in targets, catches, and yards. Looks to be Justin Fields' favorite target. But Fields has averaged only 170 passing yards per game in the last 5 weeks. You would need Darnell Mooney to get like 60% of those yards or snag a couple of touchdowns, or to see Justin Fields do something he just hasn't ever done in his career yet for Darnell Mooney to actually have a decent fantasy day. All of those variables are possible, but I think they're all unlikely. I don't hate stashing Mooney, and he's the only pass catcher I'd even consider flexing, but I'm not racing to do either one of those.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. This is the tough spot to get in here, but I think we have something here in Khalil Herbert, and it's been a month now since David Montgomery went down. Although he has been activated, the plan is to even activate him and get him some work in the Monday night game. But in the 4 games since, Khalil Herbert has been a revelation. 21 touches per game. That's 5th among running backs ahead of Zeke, Jonathan Taylor, and Aaron Jones. So they've given him the ball. They've continued to give him the ball. He remains matchup independent, given that type of workflow. And what we saw with him against Tampa Bay was just enough for me to say, even in tough matchups, this guy can get it done. I know they're saying they want to give Monty some work. I don't know why they would give him a ton of work before the bye. It feels like a 5-touch game for Monty if that's their plan. So that's why I would still roll with Herbert here. It's not a great matchup, but I continue to roll Herbert into our lineup here. Moving on to the Pittsburgh side of the football, we know it's the Diontae Johnson show for the offense, the passing attack. But can we count on Claypool this week at all, Austin?
You know, last week I said I was horny for Claypool, and I ended up going home and had to take care of myself. Claypool was 3rd on the team in targets with 5, despite a 97% snap share, which was the highest he's had of the year. The Bears this week are giving the 5th most amount of points to wide receivers, and with Claypool's hammy, though, looking near right, paired with his increasing snap percentage, I think big games are ahead. And I wish I had Claypool in more leagues, and I'd be starting him anywhere I could, even though he did let me down last week. I'm going to give it another shot this week.
Yeah, it's tough for me to trust Claypool right now. I need to see more consistent play out of him, but I understand playing him for the upside. I get it. He's my bromance. I understand who he is. But the offense scares me a little bit. It lacks big playability. It lacks, that plays perfectly for all the other guys outside of Claypool, Diontae Johnson, Najee Harris, and now Pat Friermuth. The Steelers lost Juju Smith-Schuster for the season a few weeks ago. And in the 2 games on either side of Pittsburgh's bye, Friermuth played on his most snaps of the season. He was targeted 14 times. He caught 11 balls and scored 12 PPR fantasy points in each of those games. He needs to be added and can be confidently started most weeks, including this one, as Ben seems to be more than okay playing this dink and dunk style of football with this offense, and he fits right into a Juju type role within that. Does Friermuth here, and he's been comped in the locker room to Heath Miller, who obviously Ben Roethlisberger has an affinity towards. So that's what we're looking at there. And then Johnny, we have nothing really to see here with Najee Harris. He is an RB1 and he's continued to be an RB1, kind of too big to fail at this point.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a top 5 running back at that. He has just been nonstop dink and dunk. You get him the ball, he's going in your lineup. And it's not the greatest matchup on paper for Najee, but it doesn't matter. You're still getting him in your lineup because it's Najee, and that's Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me ask you guys: Are you playing Ben Roethlisberger in this game? If you need if you need to stream it,
I think I would go with Teddy Bridgewater before I went with Ben Roethlisberger at this point in fantasy right now.
Would you?
I'm not. I would really need to take a look at it. I am so unexcited by Big Ben. His floor has been low most of his career, kind of. But now it's so much lower. It's reminding me of like that Peyton Manning end of career kind of situation where he's smart, he's comfortable on the team, coach loves him, but it's like, do you really want this guy throwing the ball in the Super Bowl?
Nope.
But
if you can lean on the defense, we'll take
definitely not good.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I don't think I would risk it there.
Though.
He just doesn't have the ceiling he used to have. This would be a bigger question 2 years ago because you'd be like, oh, well, he could go for 5 touchdowns. That's not happening.
Yeah, we're not even thinking that anymore, right?
Yeah.
100%. I get what you're saying there. What is interesting, though, like Chicago, Goff and Baker Mayfield, they both scored 18 against the Chicago Bears defense. Then you had Rodgers, Jimmy G, Stafford, Brady, all scored over 27. But like you said, that floor just seems so non-existent for Big Ben that I don't know if I would be willing to risk it in order to play him.
Chicago's not a team that can challenge. I don't think Chicago's a team that's going to be able to challenge Pittsburgh either on their defense, in my opinion. That's why they're heavy underdogs. So you don't see it being competitive enough for him to even just be dink and dunk touchdowns, enough of those to get you over the hump either. So there's just no ceiling there for me. For Johnny Game Time Hicks and Austin Sear, I am Big Travie, and we are the Fantasy Whisperers. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Right here.
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. If you still have a lot to say about fantasy football, maybe you want to give Johnny a little bit of crap for his take today, then go on over to our Discord channel and join the conversation there. Click the link in the description below. And if you still want more content, check out one of these videos. Homie, don't you hear the whispers?